Hey guys, let's make a Sublimation storyboard tumbler. You need your Sublimation design ready to go. Now, some of the companies sell these with a rubber gasket on the inside. If yours has it, you definitely want to take it out before you heat press these. You're going to get your design taped down. I use an air fryer whenever I make these. A heat press does not do the greatest job because of the size and having the metal rim at the top. So an air fryer works great for me. If you have an oven, you can also use that. If you do have a heat press, you really need to go over the top of it with a heat gun afterwards to try to really get that design to adhere to the cup, or you're going to end up with a lot of ghosting around the top. Because I use the air fryer, I do use a lot of tape when I make these. One of the very first tumblers I made in the air fryer, I didn't have a lot of tape on it, and the paper actually came loose inside the air fryer, and I may have possibly almost started a fire. Don't make the same mistake, use plenty of tape. My air fryer was preheated to 380. Now I'm putting the tumbler in at 380 for 5 to 6 minutes. You want to turn every 2 minutes to make sure that you are getting an even transfer of the color. When your tumbler's done, pull it out and let it cool down. Now that it's cooled down, go ahead and peel the tape off and see your beautiful design. Now it's time to put the two parts together. I use a 2-part epoxy. It's a quick set from the Stainless Steel Depot. You can use fast set or slow set, but you do not want to use UV resin. The stainless steel rim at the bottom, UV light cannot fully penetrate, and because of that, some of the UV resin may not actually cure completely, which will eventually cause your cup to start leaking. Using my 2-part epoxy, I'm going to mix 10 mLs, so 5 mLs of part A and 5 mLs of part B. You want to make sure it's mixed together really well. I like to use a heat gun and warm up the metal rim at the bottom. It just helps the epoxy to flow as you're pouring it in. And then slowly pour your epoxy in. You want to make sure and not fill it completely so you don't have any overflow when you add the acrylic part. After it's full, I use the heat gun and go over the epoxy just to make sure and pop any bubbles before I add the top. Now you're going to put on the acrylic part. Make sure that it's snug down into the base. And then I like to turn it so that the hole in the bottom of the acrylic is going to be at the back of the tumbler. Once you make sure that it's on and centered, you want to place something heavy on top just to make sure it doesn't lift. Alright, my tumbler is set overnight, the epoxy is cured, so now it's time to get it filled. I'll be adding in little clay-shaped pieces from Resin Rockers. You can use code ALLCAPSBRANDY, and crimed shape glitter from Sparkle Sloth Supplies. Use code BRANDY, all caps. The glitter that I am going to be using is a super chunky from Hemway. I get it off of Amazon. My solution that I use is 225 mLs of glycerin, about 25 mLs of magic liquid, and about 20 to 25 mLs of distilled water. So I'm adding in my solution to the tumbler. I'm going to fill it about halfway before I start adding in the glitter and the crime-shaped pieces. Now speed this part up, but you just want to work all of your different shaped pieces and your glitter and get them into the cup, lightly shaking in between, and you're basically adding as much as you like. If you want more of a full look, you can add more glitter. I want to be able to see the design through the shapes and through the glitter, so I'm just going to add a little bit at a time, kind of shake it up and see, and that way I get a good coverage, but you can still see the design through it. You're going to finish filling, top it off. You're going to put your little plug into the bottom, wipe it down, and then shake it up and have a look. Now, because there's some little bubbles that are trapped with the glitter, I'm going to let it sit upside down and degas for a few hours and work the bubbles up to the bottom, then finish filling it. Okay, I got the bubbles out, topped off the bottom, put the plug back in, and now I'm going to start sealing it. You're going to want to take a little piece of sandpaper and scuff up the bottom to give a really good surface for the resin or epoxy to adhere to. I use UV resin, but you can use epoxy to seal the bottom. Once it's sanded, you're going to want to wipe it down with a little bit of alcohol and let it dry before adding your resin. My favorite UV resin is by All That Glitters Lab. It's called All That Resin. You can use code all caps Crafty Gleam to save. And right there, there's a little piece of glitter that was stuck, so I just got it out. You put the UV resin all around the plug. You don't have to put a lot. This is just kind of a little extra step that I like to do to make sure it's completely sealed. So just that little bit around the plug, and then stick it under your UV light. Once the little plug part is cured, you're going to add your epoxy or UV resin to the bottom and add in your glitter. You can mix this separately, but it's just easier and quicker to mix it right on the bottom of the cup. Once it's all mixed, stick it under your UV light to cure this part. Once it's cured, it's time for the final layer. This is where I will add my care instruction sticker that also has my business logo on it. All of my cups get this sticker on the bottom. It protects me and the customer who's buying the cup because it has the care instructions on it and it has my logo. They know exactly how to care for the cup, and no one can take my cup and try to sell it as their own. I cover it with the last layer of UV resin, spread it around, make sure you've got a perfectly even layer. Once it's smoothed out, you're going to hit it with some heat and put it under your UV light. I'll stick the cup under my Resin Rockers UV light, starting at 6 watts and slowly moving my way all the way up to the full 48 watts to get a perfect, smooth, bubble-free cure. And now she's done. Gorgeous, cured, and ready to go. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Please make sure and hit subscribe and come back for more videos. Thank you for watching.